And I remember that 2 or 3 days ago he said there's also Udayanidhi Stalin is sent Deputy Chief Minister, Durga Stalin, the entire Muthuvel Karunanidhi family, as it were, going to cast their vote. 2 or 3 days ago, Stalin had said in a video message that people compare him and say that he's as dangerous as his father Karunanidhi, and Stalin wore it as a badge. He said that if if it is dangerous, which means it is to kind of protect the rights of the Tamils, then so be it. Hi Kavita, my name is Sudha. Hi. Welcome, Vanakkam. Good to have you. Vanakkam Suresh sir.
Vanakkam, madam.
Thank you. Vanakkam. Kavita, I want to get a sense of what is happening in Tamil Nadu. Very, very clear that last time the margins were very, very kind of tiny and thin, wafer thin as it were, between the two Dravidian parties. But this time around we have, of course, no one should forget Seeman, who got around, who got 8% vote last time. Thank you, Kavita, for, and also now Dalapati Vijay. Now the question is that whether Vijay's fandom will convert into votes. That's a big question, but it is for certain. And we were, I have been watching, as always being a Tamil, watching a lot of Tamil content, and in a lot of areas, rural areas, and even in semi-urban areas, one sees that how the children are going to vote for Vijay for whatever the reasons be, fandom, just being crazy about the actor, but they're also convincing their mothers and fathers and saying that mummy daddy party DMK, we young people Vijay. I want, Kavita, you to tell me that is it just pre-poll hype, or do you think no, this man Dalapati Vijay, as he is called popularly, will make a dent in both the fortresses of Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam as well as AIADMK? Kavita.
Sudha, I think this is one of the most unpredictable elections that I've ever covered since I started covering elections in '98. So, I do think Vijay is going to have some kind of impact. I don't think there will be a seat conversion. I don't see Vijay winning or TVK winning seats in a big way. Maybe he'll win his own constituencies where he is fighting. But beyond that, I don't see. But
wait. Are you saying Perambur? Are you saying Perambur?
Perambur and Trichy East, I heard it is tough. But Perambur, I think, is giving a tough fight.
But then Perambur has been a DMK bastion.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, in urban areas and places like Chennai, there is an impact that we cannot sense, we cannot kind of understand. There is in urban areas, it's very clear that Vijay has some kind of impact. So, and he's a very popular film star. That doesn't immediately translate him to being a good politician or an administrator. But I do think this impact is kind of, you cannot measure this impact. But I have a feeling, as a journalist who's covered Tamil Nadu for some or more than 2 decades, I think it's going to impact the ADMK more than the DMK.
And why is that?
And Vijay models himself on MGR. Yes. He kind of wants to become the next MGR. I think it's difficult. I think it's not pragmatic also, because MGR put so much of hard work before he actually started his own party. And it was not an overnight thing for MGR. He was there in DMK for more than 2 decades before he launched his own party. So that kind of groundwork is missing. And MGR, even when ADMK was launched, the party had a structure. It took a segment away from the DMK. There was a fan club within the DMK which he took away. So there was a structure for ADMK when it was launched. I don't see Vijay's party having a structure. So there are many gaps in, Vijay might aspire to become MGR, but and I think I somehow thought like Stalin compensated for the lack of what his father had by being an able administrator and all. But I think people, when I see, I'm not sure, but when I see people kind of being overwhelmed by Vijay, I think people still miss this personality-oriented politics in Tamil Nadu. That's always been the case here. So, but Vijay has an impact, and I think it will dent ADMK more. But if his vote share goes, maybe say beyond 20-25%.
But he will also dent DMK, right? When it comes to minority. Perambur, which has, it's a misnomer to say that Perambur is only minorities. No, it's got majority Hindu votes. And of course, there are major, you have minority votes, Anglo-Indians. Very, very famous for Anglo-Indians who live there because of the railway coach factory. But the point of the matter is that he's going to dent that as well. And recently, I think, Suresh sir, I want to come to you before I go to Thoya, my colleague. Suresh sir, recently when Wilson said, why is he going to St. Anthony's Church? I did a debate. Why is Wilson of the DMK commenting on where Vijay is going unless Wilson and the DMK are very nervous about this man making an impact, sir? Suresh, sir.
Can I just add?
Sure.
Neither DMK nor AIADMK is bothered about Joseph Vijay. They are not bothered about him. The fight in Tamil Nadu is between DMK Alliance and
that is there, sir. But will Vijay make a dent or not? I mean, you can't.
Once again.
Sir.
Vijay is making a dent that is on AIADMK vote share.
Right.
More than DMK.
Right.
See, I've been telling that there is always an anti-sentiment, anti-DMK votes from Dr. Anna's period. Those votes will go to the opposition parties. That votes were going to AIADMK.
Right.
That votes, about 2.5%, is being transferred to TVK. In this case, AIADMK is becoming weak. But Vijay is only denting vote share in cities. Village, they are not doing well. We get reports that there are no few booths, they are not having polling agents.
Because, Kavita, one thing about villages, any Indian villages, they are more bothered about who takes us to hospitals. If there is a death in our family, does the local MLA come? If my child needs an admission, will my pregnant daughter-in-law, be taken in a vehicle to the hospital? Inoculation is being done or not? Local festivals, Pongal, Deepavali, all these festivals, Puttande, whether the local MLA is coming and celebrating with us. I think those things, don't you feel matters more to them, Kavita?
Certainly it does. And I think, like in rural areas, as you can see, they are very, I mean, I think the urban area dent is related to Vijay's cinema image. So, and that's why I said its impact on DMK is going to be minimal, maybe in Perambur, maybe in some urban constituencies, not beyond that.
Okay.
In rural area, the sentiment is very strong, and I think it's with the Dravidian part.
All right, hold that thought, guys. I'm sorry, but I have to interject in this fashion. I'm going to Thoya Jakshi, my colleague who's been standing there for a long time. Thoya, thank you for your patience as always. Thoya, so tell us, Kartiki asked you about the ground feel, what you're feeling. Let's come to specifics of this. When Vijay came to vote, I thought the crowds will not follow him, because all through we have only seen crowds following him in this digital age, in this social media era as well. But Nilangare, it was once again, I saw Dalapati. The thing is that you have been covering elections, you've interviewed all the major players there. Have you noticed, have you been speaking to your peers, do you think this fandom is genuinely only fandom, or it may just translate into something else as well? Thoya.
Well, Sudha, when we had a word with Piyush Goyal just 2 days back, when I asked him about will there be any kind of impact because of Vijay in this elections, even Piyush Goyal said, as an actor, even I like to go and see him the same way the fans are also seeing. But as a politician, it's really difficult as of now, because you also see that not only fans came to have a glimpse of him voting for the first time as a candidate, but also you see on the other hand, people were wearing the exact dress what Vijay was wearing, white shirt and a beige pant, just just coming into the polling booths wearing the uniform like white shirt and beige pant, that they are projecting themselves that they are going to vote for Vijay. So this is how every polling booth in Tamil Nadu is seeing, Sudha. On the other hand, definitely Vijay will have an impact in this elections, because you see mostly it will affect the DMKs and the AIADMK, because last year, previous elections, the voter turnout was about 70%, but this time after the SIR was implemented in Tamil Nadu, it is going to, the vote turnout will be increased to around 80+%.
All right, what I like about
on the other hand, when we talk only about
Yes,
TVK's percentage, it is expected that
Sorry, Thoya.
It is expected about that TVK Vijay will, at least get 17 to 18% of vote share
wow.
in this election.
Right. So, Thoya, thank you so much. What I like about this is, will Vijay dent DMK? Will Vijay dent AIADMK? Suresh sir was saying something. Kavita, our expert, also saying something else. Thoya also saying something else. So, therefore, that is the X factor. We're going to take a break right now. But when we come back, my colleague Kartikeya Sharma will join us back. You're watching election specials on News 9. We are focusing on West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. See you on the other side.